on this Wednesday night. My name is David Morrison. I am the Vol Society analyst. Thank you for joining us tonight. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/UT Vol Society. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you once again for everybody tuning in tonight. You can go ahead and start leaving comments, whether you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, and we will read it on the air tonight. I got a lot to talk about tonight. We will dive into the baseball weekend as Tennessee took on Missouri, and plus we'll recap last night's game with Tennessee Tech. Kind of a wild game at Smokies Park last night. Big recruiting weekend for the Tennessee football team. 19 high school recruits visited UTK over the weekend, including one made a commitment this week. We'll talk all about that. Also, we'll preview forgot to mention, we will preview the SEC weekend series with Alabama this weekend. Got some hoop news to talk about, including Brandon Hundley-Hatfield, the 5-star freshman entering the transfer portal. We'll dive into that. And then some other basketball roster-related news, including a potential Tennessee player visiting this weekend. And then Tennessee, the University of Tennessee Athletic Department picked up I guess you can call a record when Tennessee baseball team hit number 1, becoming the second school in collegiate sports history to have a number 1 ranking in football, men's and women's hoops, baseball, and softball, and then some other sports. We'll talk all about that coming up, and then we'll touch on the women's golf playing in the SEC championship this weekend. Hello to my grandparents watching. We got our founder Brad in the chat rooms, and welcome to our viewers. Feel free to ask questions. Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and get into the show right now. Like I said, chat room is open, so fire away any questions as we go along with the show. All right. So last night, Tennessee taking on Tennessee Tech up at Kodak, Tennessee, right at the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Tennessee broke out the wooden bats for the first time in, I think, since 2006 when Tennessee played the Tennessee Smokies in a exhibition game. I guess some controversy of how that all transpired last night. But unfortunately, Tennessee fell to the Golden Eagles last night, 3-2 the final score. That snapped Tennessee's 23-game winning streak. Blake Tidwell got the start last night. Only went 1 inning. Like I said, still coming off from injury. So, like I said, Tony Vitello really went to the bullpen early on and basically went throughout the entire night with it. Like I said, Tidwell started the first inning. Kirby Connell went in the second inning. Normally he's in by the 8th inning, and Brad says can't win them all. This team is still the best all around. Yeah, definitely so, and I'll get into that in a moment. Especially a little bit of rant on social media people. Not anybody here at Ball Society, just others. And I'll get into that in a moment. But Xander Seacrest started. He was the normal weekday starter. He went 2 innings pitch. Had Camden Sewell relieved a little bit. McLaughlin pitched a little bit. Brad's favorite pitcher, Ben Joyce, the 104-mile-an-hour pitcher, unfortunately took the loss last night. But like I said, Tennessee jumped out early, 2-0. Drew Gilbert hit an RBI single, and then Gilbert ended up, Drew Gilbert got the RBI single, and then he ended up scoring the second run of the night off a fielding error when Lipscomb was at bat. And then Tennessee Tech just came roaring back late in the game. Hatter of Tech had an RBI single in the 5th inning, and then Newsom hit a 2-run homer, and that sealed the deal as Tennessee Tech defeated Tennessee last night 3-2 last night at Smoky Stadium. Now that will set up the weekend series with Alabama coming up. Those games taking place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Friday night at 6:30, Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and Sunday at 1. All those games are going to be on the SEC Network Plus app. So if you have that available, you can watch it. So no TV this weekend for Tennessee and Alabama. But let's jump back into last weekend. Talk about some happy baseball memories. Actually, let me get into my quick rant really quick before I jump into the Missouri game. So after the game was over last night, there was, like I said, this is not Vol Society fans. Vol Society fans are great, and I'm not trying to bash the Tennessee fans in general. But after the loss, everybody was thinking it was like the end of the world and like, oh my goodness, why would we lose to Tennessee Tech? Tennessee Tech stinks and blah, 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 blah. First of all, this is baseball. Baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. This is not like the Tennessee football team lost to Tennessee Tech's football team. Remember, Tennessee Tech just 3 years ago was just one win away from reaching the College World Series before they lost to Texas. So this is not a end-of-the-world loss. I mean, yeah, talently we're better than them, but like I said, you can't win them all. You're 30-2 right now. Probably still going to be the number one team in the nation next week. Depends on how you do with Alabama over the weekend. And, it was just kind of it was just kind of just silly a little bit on some ball fans' part. But like I said, like Brad said, you can't win them all. And I still think we're the best team in college baseball. All right, let's jump back into Missouri. So this is where I think, and Brad said not a big deal at all. Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, I don't want to say I was shocked by the loss. I was a little surprised. But when I'm about to break down with the weekend series with Missouri, you kind of saw the writing on the wall a little bit. And Brad says we are the best. So Friday night, like I said, we played Missouri out at Lizzie Nelson Stadium. Like I said, Tennessee was down 2-0 going into the fifth inning. And then we ended up come firing back. Trey Lipscomb with a home run, Evan Russell with a home run, RBIs from Drew Gilbert, Jarrell Ortega, Lawson and Beck also with some RBIs. Chase Burns got dinged. He got smacked around quite a bit in that game. Only went 2 2/3 of an inning with 3 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. So not his best stuff at all. But Mark McLaughlin got the win for Tennessee on Friday. Like I said, Vols went on to win that one 8-3. Saturday, probably the most memorable game of that whole weekend series. Tennessee was down 2-0 going in the second inning and then jumped out 3-2 thanks to 3 home runs in that inning by Trey Lipscomb, Jarrell Ortega, and Evan Russell. I mean, those 3 guys, I love them right there that close in the lineup because that brings a lot of power to that lineup. Missouri did get the lead back going into the 6th inning, jumped out 4-3, and then that's when Mike Honcho stepped up. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Tennessee down 4-3, bases are loaded. Grand slam into left field by Jordan Beck. Tennessee jumped out 7-4, and then they piled on some more runs, end up winning 11-4. The Mike Honcho effect has really taken Tennessee athletics by storm. Like I said, now we got Mike Honcho baseball jerseys at the Vol shop now, and our future Tennessee quarterback Nico was wearing one when he was in town over the weekend, and pretty cool stuff. Chase Stolander now goes to 6-0 on the year for the Big Orange, and that win Saturday night broke the SEC record for the most wins to start in SEC play. Florida had that record. I can't remember what year off the top of my head. They had it they won their first 11 straight SEC games, and then Tennessee broke that record on Saturday. Or actually, maybe we tied that on Saturday and broke it on Sunday, I believe. Anyways, we're 12-0 in SEC play, which has never happened in SEC baseball. So kudos to Tennessee on that. As I mentioned, they won 4-3 on Sunday. Like I said, Tennessee jumped out early, 4-0. Mizzou did try to make a late rally, but Big Orange got the win. Luke Lippy has 2 home runs in that game. Drew Beam goes to 7-0 on the year with 7 strikeouts and only gave up 6 hits. Redmond Walsh picked up his 5th save of the year. So like I said, despite the Tech loss, I still believe in this team. I still think we're going to come out firing this weekend with Alabama. Like I said, last year we played them in the SEC tournament. It was a controversial loss, but then we got the revenge on them. So should be a fun series. And Brad says, Dr. Danny making Tennessee great again. Absolutely. Danny White is the man. And like I said, I'm very happy that he is our athletic director. All right, so let's switch gears. Let's talk a little football really quick. Primarily, we're going to talk about recruiting more than just the 2022 team. Big recruiting weekend last week as Tennessee had their spring game, which, unfortunately kind of ended up being a bit of a disaster. They tried to do like a viewing party, and unfortunately, because of the weather over the weekend, some colder temperatures, didn't have the greatest turnout for that. And of course, not being in Neyland Stadium, and then it wasn't televised, and there were some fans that kind of upset by that. But, in all honesty, is anybody going to remember this in 2 months? Probably not. I'll just say that. So, anyway, let's talk about the recruits. 19 recruits visited UTK over the weekend. One committed this week. I meant to post this on the Facebook page. It totally slipped my mind. New recruit at Tennessee, 3-star edge, Nathan Robinson from Greenbrier, Tennessee, is now a Tennessee Vol, part of the 2023 class. He was one of the 19 that visited over the weekend. There's 14 players from the class of 2023 and 5 from the class of 2024. I didn't write down all 19 players, but I wrote down some of the names that Tennessee has a shot at getting. And the first 3 names I'm going to read are already committed to Tennessee. So in town this past weekend, Nico Iamaleava, 5-star quarterback from California, he's already committed. 3-star athlete, Jack Luttrell, already committed to Tennessee, and then I already mentioned Nathan Robinson. And then players undecided right now, but in the mix, Brad says can't wait until Tennessee football. 5-star wide receiver Carnell Tate from Chicago, Illinois. This has been a very interesting story with Carnell Tate. So Carnell Tate, according to all the crystal ball projections, basically is an Ohio State commit, verbal commit, I guess you can say. He's been talking with the Buckeyes for over a year now, and now he has also been good friends with Nico. And of course, a lot of these high school, football players, they know each other, whether it's 7-on-7 camps or, football camps, or of course, social media. Everybody's got Twitter and Instagram accounts and whatever else. So they always interact. And like I said, Nico is, everybody kind of knows he's trying to bring people to come to Tennessee to play with them. And one of those players is Carnell Tate. Like I said, a lot of the crystal ball projections had Carnell Tate with like a 96% chance of going to Ohio State. Since that Tennessee visit, it has dropped down to like 53% of maybe him going to Ohio State. And now Tennessee has jumped up to it was like 35% or something like that. Notre Dame was also in the mix. So it could happen. That would be a big steal for Tennessee if they can get Carnell Tate. I mean, like I said, the weekend seemed like it went very well. I did see an interview with him through VolQuest. It sounds like he's not going to make any more visits to Tennessee until he makes a decision. Also sounds like he's not going to make an announcement until the summer. He's just going to enjoy the rest of his, the rest of this be his junior year, and then going to make an announcement in the summer and then play his senior year in high school in Chicago. So we'll see how that goes. 4-star wide receiver Kyler Casper, another guy was like 95, 96% chance of him going to Oregon, now has slashed a lot due to the Tennessee visit. Once again, Nico is very familiar with him. Matter of fact, I think Nico and Kyler Casper, when they visited Oregon, they visited around that same time, and now, of course, they made a kind of a relationship with that. And that would be another huge target for Tennessee if we can get Kyler Casper. But we shall see. 4-star wide receiver Devin Hyatt, that's Jalen Hyatt's brother, paid a visit. I can see him commit pretty soon to Tennessee just because of who his brother is. So wouldn't shock me there. 4-star safety Sylvester Smith, running back Travian Webb. It seems like he's more of a Florida guy or leaning towards going to Florida, but Tennessee's in the mix. 4-star edge Rico Walker, 4-star offensive lineman Lucas Simmons, and 4-star defensive lineman Hunter Osborne. I mean, these are big-time recruits. Like I said, they all visited the same weekend. And like I said, you had the orange and white game. Nico had a 7-on-7 football tournament. They took place at Farragut High School, and I think several of them players was in it. Nico's team won the 7-on-7 tournament. And then I'll mention one player in the 2024 class, Jordan Anderson, a 4-star wide receiver, which is crazy to think we're reading 2024 classes. And 20 years ago, I was a senior in high school. But, like I said, 19 players visited this weekend, like I said, including 5 in the 2024 class. And like I said, Josh Heupel, there was some concerns. Is he a good recruiter? He didn't really bring the best athletes to UCF. And, well, Josh Heupel is really shutting his doubters down. Like I said, you get Nico. You got 2 other guys from the 2022 class, including Ethan Davis, the tight end, who did visit this weekend. But he is a 4-star tight end, may get bumped up to a 5-star. And, yeah, Brad says because it was UCF, not Tennessee. Yeah, and you're technically right. I mean, Florida is a big high school recruiting hotbed. But like I said, you're competing with Florida, FSU, Miami. And Brad says Heupel is killing it here. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, with the previous regimes that we've had, we've always been told, it's Tennessee. If you build it, they come. Look what we did in the 90s. Look what we did in the 80s. Look at Peyton Manning. Well, these kids wasn't born when Peyton Manning was there. I mean, they were a child when Eric Berry was there. I mean, probably their more recent Tennessee memories is maybe Alvin Kamara. And like I said, you can't just rely on, and as much respect we have for Peyton Manning and Reggie White and Johnny Majors and so on and so forth, these kids don't really know them. And we can educate them and talk about them. And, yeah, I know Peyton is more of a bigger football name, but, these kids probably remember Peyton more of the NFL. So you have to kind of evolve your brand with Tennessee football. And Josh Heupel is saying, hey, look what Hendon Hooker did last year. He came from Virginia Tech. Look at the numbers he put up. Cedric Tillman, he had 7 catches in his entire Tennessee career. Last year went out and got a 1,000-yard season. And it continues to grow. Velus Jones Jr. Came from USC. Had a great senior year. Now he's going to the NFL. Matthew Butler, just kind of another name on the team. And for, to be all respectful, he's going to the NFL. And we're seeing this start. And Nico is the big domino, the head cheese, really, or whatever cliche you want to use. And I really, truly believe Nico is really helping us out as far as saying, hey, we need to come to Tennessee. They got something going. And I saw before we went on the air, Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, who hosts a podcast on Barstool Sports called Bussin' with the Boys. They were in Knoxville, and I think they may be dropping some episodes with Josh Heupel and Tony Vitello. So that's kind of cool. Of course, I'm a Titans fan, so I know them very well. So like I said, there is a buzz in Knoxville. I mean, yes, UT football has always been a brand name per se, but it feels like, speaking of podcasts, I'll mention that in a second. But like I said, people are starting to see Tennessee not as just a punchline anymore, but as a respectable brand name. And like I said, Tennessee is getting cool again. It's getting hip. These kids are noticing it. When the recruits that came in, they took their pictures in the uniform. As much, I know the traditionalists are going to hate this, but a lot of those recruits, when they put the Tennessee uniform on, they went for the dark mode jerseys and the dark mode pants and the new helmets. Kids like that. That's why we had those alternate uniforms. It's basically a recruiting tool because it's like, whoa, that looks really cool seeing that on TV. I'm going to take a visit to Tennessee and take a look at that. And then they see everything else that Tennessee football provides. So speaking of podcasts, I mentioned the Bussin' with the Boys. We're not going to be on the Bussin' with the Boys, but Vol Society podcast. We are going to think about doing it. We're getting a pretty strong response for the Vol Society podcast. We're going to try to launch it late summer, getting ready into football season. It's going to be me, Brad Frank, David East. If you are interested in listening to it and want to, like I said, spread the word out or, at least get some listens to it, please reach out to us, DM us, put it on our Facebook comments. You want a Vol Society podcast. Like I said, I just do the Wednesday night little recap show. But if you want to hear other Vol voices, not just mine, like I said, our founder, Brad, David E's another a voice that works for Vol Society, maybe some other UT voices, reach out to us. We would love to do it. We're pretty much going to do it. We just want to see if you are all interested in that. All right, so that's kind of a look at what's going on recruiting-wise at Tennessee. Let's jump into hoops. Big news this week also, Brandon Hundley-Hatfield hit the transfer portal, the former five-star, freshman, hype freshman, I guess you could say. This is a bit of a surprise to me. We saw Hundley-Hatfield at the beginning of the year. We heard reports that, he wasn't really getting up to speed in practice and wasn't getting a lot of playing time. And then I guess it was right before SEC play, he finally started to get some more playing time, mainly because of the Kamwa injury. And it seemed like he finally got it. And this week he announced he's hitting the transfer portal, which is a bit surprising to me. But, we shall see. Just feel like it should have been to me, it felt like he was the right fit at the right time, but maybe he just had other plans in mind. I'm not sure, but it's just kind of surprising either way. Santiago Vescovi, I forgot to mention this a couple weeks ago. He's trying out in the NBA draft. He has not signed with an agent. And for those who may not be familiar with this, any college basketball player can go through the NBA draft combine, and find out where they are as far as the draft boards go. You do all the skill tests and the interviews and stuff like that, as long as you don't sign with an agent. If you sign with an agent, you can't come back. But if you try out and, like I said, don't sign with an agent, you can still have your last year of eligibility or how many years of eligibility still left. Yee Pons did that 2-3 years ago. Didn't really do good at the NBA combine, so he came back to Tennessee for another year, and worked out for him. He's now with the Memphis Grizzlies. So Vescovi's kind of doing that right now, just going through the NBA combine to see where he's at. We shall see. Quentin Diobje, I totally just butchered that name. Anyways, he hit the transfer portal. He's actually going to East Carolina to play with the new VCU coach. And then I already mentioned Victor Bailey Jr. Going to George Mason, play with Kim English, and then Brock Jansen's also in the transfer portal. So, like I said, I know a lot of people talking about with Hundley-Hatfield and Vescovi, and then somebody reached out to me, like Josiah Jordan-James did this kind of cryptic tweet, which I don't really pay much attention to cryptic tweets because, they're college kids. You don't know what they're really thinking. So I'm still not worried about this team at all. You're still gonna be okay. It's gonna have Plotchis coming back, I guess. Cy Jordan James is coming back. You're gonna have BJ Edwards back. Also, Zakai Ziegler gonna be running the point. So I don't see too much issues with this team. I still think they'll be ranked preseason top 25 when we get going. Like I say, anything can happen. Tyreek Key is visiting this weekend. He's in the transfer portal from Indiana State. He's a Tennessee native, played at Clay County High School in Salina, Tennessee. Broke all sorts of high school records out there, obviously. So, like I said, he's paying a visit this weekend at Tennessee. We'll see how that goes. Lady Vol news, WNBA Draft was Monday night, and congratulations to our own Rae Burrell, drafted by the LA Sparks with the 9th pick in the first round. So congratulations to her. Going to be playing with Derek Fisher in the Sparks, so pretty cool there. And Alexis Dye signed as a free agent with the Connecticut Sun, so we wish our Lady Vols the best in the WNBA. All right, some news and notes really quick. Mentioned this at the top of the show. Tennessee becomes the second school in NCAA history, or I guess AP history, to have a number 1 ranking in football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, and softball. They joined the Texas Longhorns in that department there. Like I said, Tennessee football has been ranked number 1 in the country 4 times in school history, twice in men's basketball, 17 times in women's basketball, 1 time with baseball, and that's where we are right now. That's how we got the record. Softball twice. Tennessee's also been number 1 in the country twice in men's golf, twice in men's tennis, which we were earlier in the year, and then we ended up slipping lately. And then we've been number 1 in men's and women's track and field. So, like I said, this is rare accomplishment that Tennessee has achieved. And you think about some of the major institutions like a UCLA, who's got like 50 scholarship sports out there, and Stanford's another one. You know, I'm not surprised Texas is a part of that mix because of their athletic department. But, you know, Alabama and Georgia and Florida and Ohio State, Notre Dame, none of these schools have reached that. Only Texas and Tennessee has. We should be very proud of that with this athletic departments that Tennessee's produced. And like I said, you know, we've been number 1 in the country twice in the Danny White era. Once with men's tennis, and now once with baseball. And it's just fascinating to see how this athletic department has just grown since he's been there. Like I said, football is probably the most hype it's been in a long time. Men's basketball still does put up great numbers. Lady Vols still has a great support. Baseball has never been hotter. Softball is still good. And just very happy where Tennessee athletics is right now. Women's golf is playing in the SEC Championship this weekend. I think usually they play it down like Orange Beach, Alabama, or Gulf Shores, Alabama, somewhere down in that vicinity. The Lady Vols are kind of struggling right now. They're 17 over par, which is tied for 12th with Mississippi State. But we'll give a shout out to Kayla Holden and Michaela Bardwell. They're 3 over right now as far as individual competition. Auburn leads that SEC championship after day 1 with an even par. Like I said, a little bit of golf talk, especially coming off of the Masters like that. But yeah, pretty cool stuff going on at the University of Tennessee. Exciting. Any questions or comments right now? Like I said, glad everybody's tuning in tonight. Been a great weekend. Like I said, Tennessee baseball. Did you see The Rock today? Yes, about the message of the Easter, and yeah, that was really cool. Glad to see that. Yeah, like I said, hopefully everybody has a happy Easter weekend. Right? Yeah, pretty cool, Brad. Absolutely. Hopefully everybody has a great Easter weekend. Like I said, stay safe. Enjoy it. Hopefully the weather's nice this weekend. I know weather kind of changes around here. Seems like on a daily basis. At least it was 80 today. But should be, hopefully it's an enjoyable weekend. I know I get Good Friday off, so I'll enjoy that. Brad says spending time with family. Yeah, hopefully you get to spend time with your family if you can. We are too. And just an important weekend for me personally also. Yeah, thank you to our followers. Like I said, for supporting us. Like I said, talking Tennessee athletics and following along and being a part of this ride and this journey for us. Like I said, we've been around coming up on 2 years. I've been a part of it almost a year, doing the Wednesday night shows, and like I said, just keep supporting us. And we got some more stuff coming up throughout the rest of the year, getting ready for football season. Going to roll out some big projects. It's going to be a lot of fun. Brad says football season is going to be big on Ball Society this year. Yes, very excited about it. I can't wait. Like I said, even just some preseason stuff we're going to talk about. Like I said, we did a little bit of a spring preview last week, but once we get into summer camp, we're going to really crank out some cool content for y'all. And like I said, the podcast is a part of that and should be a lot of fun. I will be in Knoxville this weekend, not for Tennessee related. I'll be at the Alabama concert Saturday night at Thompson Bowling Arena, which is funny that Alabama is in town the same weekend Tennessee's playing Alabama in baseball. Funny how that worked out. Should be a lot of fun for there. Like I said, just once again, thank you to everybody tuning in tonight. Like I said, have a happy Easter weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Know it's special for a lot of people in various ways. So take time to reflect and to be grateful of everything that has happened. And like I said, just thank you to our followers that keeps tuning in, not only tuning into our Facebook page, but watching us along on Wednesday nights. And like I said, we'll continue to do this each and every Wednesday night. Like I said, bring the latest in Tennessee athletic news. And should be a fun weekend. Like I said, baseball, Alabama comes to town. Should be a lot of fun. Remember, Dixieland Delight is not about Alabama. The song Dixieland Delight, it's about Tennessee. Doesn't mention anything about Alabama. Brad says, oh, yeah. Like I said, we'll keep an eye on these recruits, see what's going to happen, if anything else comes along. Congratulations to Jennifer Woodard. She won the hat in the March Madness Challenge, so she received the SEC Championship hat. Brad said that we are mailing the hat this week to her. So congratulations, Jennifer, for winning the hat. Like I said, we'll do some more contests coming up throughout the year, see what we can give away. Hopefully some bigger, hopefully some pretty cool stuff. Courtesy of Ball Society. Like I said, once again, thank you for everybody kind of tuning in tonight. Like I said, Tennessee, Alabama baseball this weekend, women's golf in the SEC Golf Championship. And like I said, thank you for everybody tuning in. Have a happy Easter, and we'll talk to y'all next Wednesday night on Ball Society Live. Until then, David Morrison saying good night and go Vols.